You know what's wild? The moment most people start earning more money, they don't feel richer. They feel normal again. And that right there, that's the trap. Because lifestyle inflation doesn't start with greed. It starts with relief. Picture this. You finally get a raise, or a better job, or your income jumps. For a brief moment, everything feels lighter. Breathing is easier. Bills don't scare you as much. You think, okay, this is it. I've arrived. And then quietly, your life adjusts. Not dramatically, not irresponsibly, just comfortably. You move to a slightly nicer place. Not luxury, just better. You upgrade your phone. You start ordering what you actually want instead of what's cheapest. You stop checking prices as closely. You tell yourself, I earned this. And you're right. You did. But here's the part nobody warns you about. Your brain doesn't care that you worked hard. Your brain only cares about what feels normal now. That first upgrade feels amazing. The second feels justified. The third feels necessary. And suddenly, the income that once felt like freedom is just enough. This is the psychology behind lifestyle inflation. Not bad math, not poor planning, but a brain that adapts faster than your bank account can protect you. There's something called hedonic adaptation. Fancy term, simple idea. Whatever improves your life eventually becomes baseline. The new apartment stops feeling new. The better car becomes just the car. The convenience becomes expected. So your happiness resets, but your expenses don't. And because nothing feels wrong, nothing triggers alarm bells. There's no crisis, no dramatic collapse, just a slow closing of space, less margin, less flexibility, less room to breathe. But it doesn't feel like danger. It feels like adulthood. Here's where it gets sneaky. Lifestyle inflation isn't driven by wanting more. It's driven by wanting to stay comfortable. Once your nervous system gets used to a certain standard, going backwards feels painful, even if it's temporary, even if it's logical. So instead of asking, do I need this? Your brain asks, can I tolerate losing this? And that's a much harder question. Another layer people don't talk about. Identity. Your lifestyle quietly becomes proof of who you are. The neighborhood you live in, the places you go, the way you spend. It's not about showing off. It's about belonging. You start matching the version of yourself that your income suggests you should be. And once that identity forms, downgrading feels like failure, not financially, emotionally. So even when you know something is stretching you, you hold on. Because letting go doesn't just cost comfort, it costs self-image. And then there's social comparison, the silent accelerant. You're not competing with billionaires. You're comparing yourself to people just slightly ahead of you. Same job level, same age, same circle. You see what's normal for them, and your brain quietly updates the definition of enough. And here's the dangerous part. Lifestyle inflation doesn't feel like excess. It feels reasonable because every decision has a story. This saves time. This reduces stress. This improves my quality of life. This is an investment in myself. And none of those are lies. They're just incomplete truths. Because what's missing from the story is the future cost. The options you quietly give up. The risks you can no longer take. The freedom that disappears without making a sound. And the scariest thing, you don't notice it happening. Money doesn't snap. It tightens. You're still paying your bills, still surviving, still functioning. But you're no longer building space. You're maintaining a machine. And machines are expensive to keep running. Here's where things really flip. The more your lifestyle inflates, the more dependent you become on your current income. Not because you're irresponsible, but because your margin shrinks. And when margin shrinks, fear grows. You become more risk-averse, more protective, more attached. Opportunities start feeling dangerous instead of exciting. Time off feels expensive instead of refreshing. Change feels threatening instead of freeing. All because your lifestyle quietly locked you into place. That's the irony. Lifestyle inflation often looks like success from the outside, but feels like pressure on the inside. And the brain hates pressure, so it does what it always does. It normalizes it. This is just how life is. This is adulthood. Everyone feels this way. And maybe they do, but that doesn't mean it's inevitable. Here's the part most people miss. The goal of earning more money isn't to upgrade your life endlessly. It's to create space, space to choose, space to pause, space to breathe. But lifestyle inflation consumes space first and rewards later, if ever. That doesn't mean never enjoy your money. That doesn't mean live like a monk. That doesn't mean deprivation. It means awareness. Because the most dangerous upgrades aren't the big ones. They're the quiet ones you stop questioning. The subscriptions that pile up, the conveniences that become defaults, the expenses that feel small individually, but permanent together. And once they're permanent, they shape your future without asking permission. So the real question isn't, can I afford this? It's, what does this make impossible later? Does this reduce my flexibility? Does this increase my dependency? Does this lock me into a version of life that only works if everything goes right? Because life rarely does. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Lifestyle inflation doesn't steal your money. It steals your options. And options are what freedom is made of. So the next time your income increases, pause, not to punish yourself, not to deny yourself joy, but to decide intentionally. Ask yourself one honest question, not what feels good, not what looks normal, but what actually serves you. Are you upgrading your life, or are you upgrading your obligations? Because there's a difference. And once you see it, you can't unsee it.